What's up, everybody? Joe White here, and this is my third time trying to record this intro because I keep rambling. But we're going to do something different here on the channel. I'm going to do I hate using the term book club because it just sounds like, oh God, here we go. But it is going to be kind of like a book club. And so when I, you know, I came home at the beginning of April because I wanted to watch WrestleMania and be home. I wanted to be there the Monday after WrestleMania because after 2 nights of wrestling like that, plus the NXT thing, you're drained, and I just needed a day off where I didn't have to do anything really, but half-ass watch Raw. Um, anyway, came back out of the house and I started driving across the country. My company that I drive for, they sent me from um, Virginia to Edwardsville, Illinois, which is basically St. Louis, Missouri. It's right on the edge of Missouri. It's right on the Missouri-Illinois line. And then I went from Edwardsville, Illinois to Rialto, California, which is just outside of Los Angeles. And then I went from Los Angeles up to Oregon. And then from Oregon, I went into Washington State. And then from Washington State, now here I am back now. Here it is almost the end of the month. I'm recording this on April 28th. So here it is, 20 days later, and I'm back in Virginia, going back home in a few days. But on the way back, I listened to another book. So I listened to one book on the way across the country, and I listened to another book on the way back across the country. Um, and the second book is the book that I want to talk about in the next series of videos. I'm going to be, if you want to follow along with me, um, I like the book so much that I want to read it again and discuss it with you guys. And the book is Ready Player One by Ernest Cline. It was released in 2010, and of course, it was made into a few years later, into a really good movie. I liked the movie. I saw the movie before I read the book, obviously. Now that now that I've read the book or listened to the book, because I do audiobooks, um, see, this is where my mind is clouded now because I enjoyed Ready Player One really, really much, very, very much so. Now that I finished Ready Player One, I've started to listen to Ready Player Two, and I'm not enjoying that one as much. And we'll get there eventually. That may be the next book that we do, but it started contrasting because the first book that I listened to when I was driving to California also has a very, very famous movie. Probably it's my second favorite movie of all time, and it's probably what a lot of people consider to be the greatest movie of all time. And the movie is way better than the book, and we'll get there. I'm not going to spoil it as to what it is yet because I want to finish this, one turd at a time, as they say. But in this case, the book for Ready Player One, I feel, is way better than the movie. And because there is a movie based off of this book, and they changed it so much, what I want to do is, um, I kind of want to break this up. We're going to go chapter by chapter. I am going to include the audiobook that I listen to. The audiobook, see, the book is broken up into three different sections or three different levels, as they label it. And then each label has its own set of chapters. I did not know that because the audiobook just goes level one, level two, level three. They don't tell you the individual chapter numbers. Um, So I highly advise you to read the book because I am actually going to go back and read the book itself. I purchased the or Kindle version of the book Ready Player One, and I will be going back and rereading it. And I will let you know what chapter to read up to and where we're going to go from here. I may not include that audiobook. I'm still deciding whether or not I want to do that. You'll know if it's in the description. Um, it's not the Will Wheaton reading of it. It's some older guy reading it. I don't know who. He doesn't do a very good read of the book, to be honest with you. Um, but I am going to read through the prologue with you live in our first episode and discuss it with you because there's a lot to that prologue. Um, for those of you who do not know, I'll give you a brief synopsis of the book. It's a dystopian future. The world is pretty much gone to hell. There's war, famine, hunger. It's mass hysteria, and and their escape in this world is something called the Oasis, which is like a virtual reality world. And in this world, you can have a job. Basically, the world's economy is dependent on what goes on in the virtual reality world, called the Oasis. The leader or the owner and creator of the Oasis dies. When he dies, he places, as you'll hear, he places his entire savings and his entire fortune, valued at over $1 trillion, into an escrow account and holds a contest. The winner of that contest inside the Oasis will pretty much gain his fortune and become pretty much the owner of the Oasis. And that's kind of where the book begins. Um, Again, the movie, I will tell you this. If you haven't seen the movie yet, don't go watch it until after you finish the book. Because you're going to hate yourself. You're going to really hate that movie if you do it this way. Save the movie for later. Go read the book first. The book is way better than the movie. And we are going to probably the last couple of episodes of this particular series. We are going to discuss the movie. We are going to discuss how the movie differs from the book. And there is also a podcast called, I want to make sure I get it right here, 372 Pages That We'll Never Get Back. And this podcast is done by Mike Nelson and one of the other writers from Mystery Science Theater 3000. And when I heard that they were going to do a podcast about how they hate this book, or how they might hate this book, part of me was crushed because I like this book. But I'm trying to do multiple things here. I'm going to finish listening to Ready Player 2 while we're doing this series. I'm going to reread Ready Player 1. And I'm also going to try to finish the first series of episodes of the 372 Pages podcast of where they totally pick apart this book. And we can discuss that as well in the last few episodes. So basically the last two episodes of this series on Ready Player One are going to be about the movie and about 372 pages. And then we're going to do, like I said, then the second series in this podcast will probably be about the other movie that I watched going across the country. I may not necessarily do all books that have movies based on them. I do have one other one in mind after we do Ready Player Two, which will probably be the third um, series in this podcast. The fourth one does have a TV show based on the book. So I have all this stuff lined up. I'm still going to be doing the wrestling stuff. But here's what I want to do for episode 1. I am going to actually read to you the prologue of the book and give my thoughts along the way, because the prologue of this book has a lot in it. And there's a lot to unpack, as they say. There's a lot of hidden meaning in there that I want to give my thoughts on. I want you to leave your thoughts on the prologue, chapter 0, as it's called, or level, I think it's called level 0. Because, like I said, the levels are broken up into chapters, at least the book that I have, the Kindle version. So, if you want to read along, feel free to listen to just the prologue. Listen or read just the prologue. And let me know what you think in the comments below this video. I'm probably going to post the prologue, me reading the prologue, probably at the beginning of May. I will say that I will try to have that done for you guys probably May 7th. Let's shoot for that. That is a week from Tuesday. I'm recording this on Sunday, the 28th of April, 2024. So let's go. I'll give you guys 9 days to read that. So yeah, so just leave your comments below on this one, letting me know what you think about the prologue. I will read those at the beginning of the prologue. And I will, at the beginning of the prologue episode, I'll read your comments. Or I might just save your comments for after I finish reading the prologue. I'll do it that way. But I want to get some comments. Let's get some discussion going. So we got a lot to unpack here as we dive in to Ernest Cline's Ready Player One. I hope you'll take this journey with me. We'll see you down the road.